Laura, we'll go over to you with begonias. Here we go.
Okay, so I'm very familiar with growing begonias outside. I haven't done very many of them inside, but I read up quite a bit on it, and now I want to have a bunch of them because they're really pretty. They're beautiful plants in the garden, but they can also do well indoors with the right conditions. They are tropical plants, so you can have them outdoors in Virginia in the summer, but of course we can't leave them out in the winter. We have to bring them indoors. Begonias they're grown for the pretty flowers, but there's so many that have really beautiful foliage. You can grow them just for the leaves and enjoy the foliage colors and shapes. Okay, so the types of begonias, a few different varieties. These are mainly ones that are more for outdoors. So the semperflorens is the annuals that we see outside. So the wax begonias, they have lots of trees to put outside in the summer. The rhizomes, these are much more sensitive to water. They're difficult to use as a house plant. And the tuberous begonias, they've got really beautiful showy flowers, but all these three types are more difficult to grow indoors and are probably better to leave out in the summer, more of a challenge. So next, so the angel wing begonias are the ones that are the best for indoors. The angel wing, these plants vary from dwarf sizes to can be up to 5 feet tall. They have glossy green leaves, and they sometimes have silvery speckles or streaks, so the leaves are really beautiful. I've got a few examples of the plants here so you can see some of the variety of the leaves. And then some of them have flowers that are white or red. So there's quite a bit of variety of different types of these angel wing. So for care, they need bright indirect light to get flowers. And if you have lower light, you'll have foliage, but you probably won't get as many flowers. They don't have enough energy to produce flowers or light, since we just learned that from. But so if you want to promote flowers, you need to make sure they're getting more light. They just need moderate temperatures. They do need some humidity. So if you have, where the air is really dry, you can put them on a tray with rocks and water to try to get a little bit of moisture into the air around them. But you don't want to get water right on them. It's not good to get water on the leaves. They need moist soil, but not soggy. You should water them. They're susceptible to root rot. You should let them dry out completely between waterings and then water them again. So don't let them get too wet, but just keep them moist. Okay, and then fertilizing. For begonias if you're growing them for foliage, they need more nitrogen. If you're trying to get more flowers, you need the plant food that has a little bit more phosphorus. If you're trying to get flowers and you don't have any, you can look for plants with a little bit more phosphorus and try that, see if that helps. The begonias can flower from late winter all the way through August. Some of them bloom multiple times per year. So it flowers, different times of the year on these. If that's, it's kind of a nice feature of these. I mean, most of my plants are just grown for the leaves, but these begonias have really beautiful flowers. And then just move them to the pot when needed. You can add pebbles or broken shards in the pot to help aid in that drainage, so they're not water, and that'll let the water drain out a little bit. And then enjoy your beautiful begonias. Put a variety in here, different colored flowers, different colored leaves, different streaking patterns. They're just quite a variety and really beautiful. So good luck with your begonias. I'm a few, I think. They're so pretty. I mean, I love them. I've always had them in my summer planters and garden and thought of trying them inside. So.
All right, I'm going to put some links in here on growing begonias for everyone. Clemson University Extension, Iowa State Extension. One of the things that is quite popular for folks to do with their outdoor tuberous begonias is to, rather than have them just die back and treat them as annuals, is to to bring in the tubers
Oh.
and overwinter them in a cool area.
Mhm.
And you can save money that way. So there's a good article from Iowa State Extension on that. And then here's one from our own Virginia Piedmont Master Gardeners on exploring. This is a fairly good article here on begonias, and then the two Clemson pubs growing in begonias indoors and outdoors. And if you're really, oh, sorry, I pasted these in here twice. I apologize. If you're really interested in begonias, there's this very active American Begonia Society website. There's also a British site, but that's not going to do you very well for the outdoor begonias here in the United States. But the American Begonia Society website has a lot of resources on it, and also information about begonia shows. There's a plant society for every type of plant that people collect and hybridize, and begonias is a huge one in this country. So any questions for Laura or any of us on growing begonias? So Stu says she's killed every begonia she's ever had through root rot. And I would say, if somebody's to say, what's wrong with my begonia? The first thing I would say is, check the root system, because they really don't like their root system sitting in water. Particularly those indoor angelweed begonias have very fibrous roots that they're very delicate, and they just rot immediately if the soil is too damp.
So once it's rotted, do you have to chuck the whole plant? Because
Yes, yeah. Now, one thing you could do, Sue, is begonias are kind of a neat plant because there's many ways you can propagate them.
Mhm.
And the angel wings actually propagate pretty well through leaf propagation.
Oh.
And one of the things you can do is if the roots have rotted, the plant's going to go anyway. But if the leaves have not died yet, you can salvage the leaves and make leaf cuttings. And if you slice a vein in the leaf and put them down in some moist sand, they'll grow some roots. You have to be patient. You're not going to get huge plants fast. But I used to do this quite a bit with my begonia collection before I started moving around too much.
I'll try that. I mean, whether I have them outside, inside, anywhere, and I stopped buying them. I mean, they're beautiful plants, but I just basically stopped buying them because I killed every single one of them.
So I would check out these Clemson pubs. They're actually pretty good for indoors and outdoors. And then the Piedmont one is actually pretty good.